Right now, I'm enjoying some games on my new setup, and honestly, it feels very different from playing on a typical PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, or Xbox. Because in reality, this is just a tiny mini PC with a volume of only about 1.9 liters. And that's the cool part. If you already have an old computer, no matter what size it is, instead of letting it sit in a corner collecting dust, you can give it a second life. With the power of Linux, we can turn it into a fully capable gaming machine, a system that can play PC games, watch YouTube, and be used in creative ways that most traditional consoles simply can't match. So in today's video, we're going to transform this tiny PC into a complete gaming machine. Let's get started. First, let's talk a bit about the size of this system. Because of its compact form factor, you can easily pick it up and move it with just one hand. And even better, it's small enough that I can place it next to the TV in my living room without taking up much space at all. Now, the star of the show here is the SRock DeskMini X300. I actually made a full video about this machine before, so if you want to learn more about it in detail, feel free to check out that video. But for now, let's quickly go over the specs of this system. Inside, it's powered by the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G, which is what we call an APU. At around $165, this is honestly one of the best value CPU you can get in this range. It comes with 8 cores and 16 threads, which is more than enough to handle most modern games, even some titles that aren't particularly well optimized. On top of that, it can boost up to 4.6 GHz with a base clock of 3.8 GHz, which is pretty impressive for a chip in this category. But what really makes this processor special is the integrated GPU inside it. The chip features the Radeon Vega 8 graphics, running at up to 2000 MHz, and surprisingly, the performance of this iGPU can actually outperform a dedicated NVIDIA GeForce GT 1030 with 2 GB of VRAM. In terms of raw performance, this CPU scores around 6,703 points in multi-core and about 638 points in single-core, which shows that it's much stronger in multi-threaded workloads. I also ran Unigine Heaven Benchmark to test the performance of the iGPU. At 1080p with medium settings, the system averaged about 45 FPS with a maximum of 93 frames per second and a minimum of 8 frames per second. That's roughly half the performance of a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, which is actually pretty impressive for an integrated GPU. But let's set the benchmarks aside for a moment and move on to the operating system. For this build, I wanted something similar to SteamOS, an OS that works well with AMD hardware and is easy to install and use for beginners. That's why I decided to go with Bazzite, which is designed almost entirely around gaming. The system is extremely lightweight and doesn't run a lot of background services. That means when you power on the machine, more system resources are available for your games. This is especially useful for PC using APU, like the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G, where the CPU and GPU share system resources. Another great thing about Bazzite is how well it takes advantage of AMD graphics drivers on Linux. The Mesa drivers are deeply optimized within the system, so the Vega iGPU performs very consistently, sometimes even smoother than you might expect. And finally, the overall user experience feels a lot like using a console. When you power on the PC, the gaming interface appears immediately. You can control the entire system using a controller without needing a keyboard or mouse. In other words, this tiny PC ends up feeling like a real console sitting next to your living room TV. The installation process is actually very simple. First, go to the official website of Bazzite and click on Download. From there, you'll be asked to select a few options, mainly based on the type of hardware you're using. It's important to choose the correct one because it determines which drivers will be installed for your system. After that, download the Bazzite image file. Then you'll also need Rufus. Once everything is downloaded, grab a USB drive, open Rufus, and use it to create a bootable USB. Just select the Bazzite image you downloaded, and Rufus will handle the rest automatically. When the process finishes, restart your PC and boot from the USB. You'll see two boot options on the screen. Just select the top one. This will take you into desktop mode. From there, the final step is to install Bazzite onto your system. The installer will ask for some basic information such as your language, time zone, and where you want to install the OS on your drive. Finally, create a username and password for your account. After that, everything is set. Now you just need to wait while the system completes the installation. After about 5 minutes, the installation finished, and just like that, my mini PC had a completely new interface. Connecting a controller is also very simple. Just hold the home button on the controller to put it into pairing mode, then open the Bluetooth settings in Bazzite. The system will automatically detect the controller, and all you need to do is connect. That's it. Now I can navigate and control the entire system using the controller without relying too much on a keyboard or mouse. At this point, the experience feels almost exactly like using a real gaming console. But to get the best gaming experience, there's one more step I need to do. Unlike a dedicated graphics card, an integrated GPU doesn't have its own VRAM. Instead, it uses a portion of the system's RAM as graphics memory. That's why in the BIOS you'll find a setting called UMA frame buffer size, which lets you allocate a fixed amount of RAM for the iGPU. If this value is set too low, the GPU constantly has to borrow additional memory from the system while running games. That can lead to stuttering, FPS drops, or slow texture loading. By increasing the allocation to around 2 GB or even 4 GB, the GPU has dedicated memory ready to handle textures and graphical data. As a result, games tend to run more smoothly, and those annoying stutters are greatly reduced. To see how it actually performs in real gaming, I tested a few different titles. First up is Hollow Knight, Silk Song. It's a very relaxing game with beautiful hand-drawn 2D visuals. Running at 1080p with max settings, VRAM usage sits at around 1.5 GB, and the game runs incredibly smooth. The coupon only uses about 10 to 20%, and the frame rate stays well above 200 frames per second. No stuttering, no frame drops, which makes sense since the hand-drawn 2D style is very lightweight on hardware. Next, I tried a light 3D title, Lego The Hobbit. With graphics set to maximum, the game consistently runs above 100 frames per second. CPU usage is only around 5%, and VRAM usage is just 0.6 gigabytes. Plenty of headroom to enjoy all the action and puzzle-solving adventures in LEGO's Middle-earth. Now let's move into the AAA territory with the classic Tomb Raider. At 1080p on medium settings, the frame rate stays around 70 to 80 frames per second. And even during heavy combat scenes with lots of visual effects, it still stays above 60 frames per second. That's more than smooth enough for a great experience. The only downside is thermals. The CPU temperature climbs to around 80 degrees Celsius. But honestly, that's the trade-off when you're using an ultra-compact system with limited cooling. Finally, I wanted to push the system even harder with The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. At 1080p on low settings, the Radeon Vega 8 iGPU starts to show its limits. Frame rates hover around 30 frames per second. Not amazing, but still playable. VRAM usage reaches about 3.2 gigabytes. What really surprised me, though, is that the CPU is only using around 15% CPU load during gameplay. And finally, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. A game that really needs no introduction. Still running at 1080p with medium settings, the frame rate stays consistently above 60 frames per second. Even during intense shootouts and action-heavy moments, the frames per second remain stable without any major drops. VRAM usage sits at around 1.6 gigabytes, while CPU usage stays steady at about 30%. It's safe to say that Rockstar Games did an excellent job optimizing this title. And with that, I've successfully transformed this tiny mini PC into a real gaming machine. And honestly, this approach isn't limited to just this system. You could apply the same idea to many other old or small PCs and give them a second life as a gaming setup.